Welcome on board, Chosen One. Yeah, step right in. The world pretended not to see what you survived, but I saw everything. When they said you were done, you kept walking. When they whispered you were broken, you didn't even flinch. And when they stood there expecting you to fall at their feet, look who never bowed. Not even once. That silence you hear right now, that is them realizing the legend they tried to bury is the same legend walking right past them without a scratch. They said you lost everything. They said you ruined your life. They said you sacrificed too much. Funny how they didn't notice you were building the entire time. You didn't throw your old life away. You traded it for something stronger, something cleaner, something the universe had been trying to hand you, but you couldn't carry until you dropped every dead weight attached to you. By the way, press the like button and subscribe if this message already hits you somewhere deep. Consider it a way of sending energy back into the universe for helping you rise again. Now let's get back to the part that keeps your enemies awake at night. Because here is the thing they don't want to admit. They watched you sacrifice everything and assumed it meant you were weak. They watched you walk away from relationships that drained you. They watched you cut off people who kept you small. They watched you lose money, comfort, the approval of people who never deserved access to you in the first place. And they thought all of that meant you were falling apart. But nothing terrifies a crowd more than someone who loses everything and still walks like they run the entire room. It hits them harder because they cannot do what you did. They cling to comfort like it is oxygen. They cling to fake support like it is their identity. They cling to their little routines and safe reputations because they are scared of the unknown. But you stepped into the unknown like it was home. You took every loss straight to the chest and didn't cry for witnesses. You rebuilt in silence. You healed in private. You didn't post about your pain. You didn't beg for sympathy. You just handled it. And that is what broke them. Remember the night you sat alone on the floor, staring at everything you lost? Yeah, the one nobody knows about. The night when you thought you were done for. The night when the universe felt silent. The night when walking away felt like ripping your own skin off. They don't know that story. They don't know how close you were to giving up. They don't know what it cost you to stay alive, to stay sane, to stay standing. They only know the final result. You didn't die. You didn't break. You didn't disappear like they hoped. You came back sharper, colder, wiser, and smarter than you have ever been. It reminds me of something that happened years ago. A man lost everything in one night. His business collapsed. His partner betrayed him. His friends vanished. Everyone said he was finished. He disappeared for 2 years. When he came back, he owned 3 companies and opened one of the biggest centers in his city. People asked him how he did it. He said, "Losing everything was the moment I finally saw what was holding me back." That is you. You didn't just take losses, you cleaned house. You removed every person who never deserved to stand next to your destiny. You cut ties with every anchor pretending to be support. Your enemies hate that you got better without their help. They hate that their absence didn't destroy you. They hate that you learned how to stand alone. Because once someone learns to stand alone, nobody can move them again. They watched you sacrifice everything, thinking it would humble you, but it only exposed them. They laughed at your pain until they realized you felt no shame about rebuilding. They mocked you for walking away until they noticed you never looked back. They thought you would beg to come home, beg for acceptance, beg for validation. Instead, you walked into a new life with a quiet strength that cut deeper than any revenge. Here is the truth they don't want spoken out loud. You didn't come out on top despite your sacrifices. You came out on top because of them. Your courage embarrassed their comfort. Your growth exposed their laziness. Your resilience crushed their excuses. They thought your fall would be entertainment. Instead, your rise became their nightmare, and now every single thing you sacrificed is paying off. The universe saw the moves you made when nobody was clapping for you. It saw you choose growth over comfort, truth over fake peace, and strength over approval. Now they are watching you win from the very seats they used to laugh from. This is your era now. This is your comeback written in fire. This is the moment they finally understand what you really are. Not the weak one, not the broken one, not the fallen one. You are the one who walked through hell with no witnesses, and still came out on top. Exactly like the title said. And they are never forgetting it. Before we move on, Chosen One, I need you here with full focus. You didn't come this far just to scroll away, like nothing happened. You rose from ashes that would have swallowed most people whole, so stay with me now. Drop a 777 in the comments if you are ready to keep building the new version of yourself. The one that scared everyone who watched you rise after losing everything. This is your moment to claim the energy you have earned. And trust me, if you are truly built for this journey, you will feel something in your chest telling you not to leave, not to look away, not to break the momentum you finally created. And now we are stepping into it piece by piece. Every part of what comes next will make your path clearer and your victory louder. If you are the real deal, you will feel the pull to stay until the very last word, because this story is literally your life in disguise. Now, let's get into it. Number 1. The experiment that broke their little reality. Funny how they called it your downfall, while your failure is the reason they cannot sleep anymore. They really thought you were collapsing. They stood there with popcorn in their hands, running their mouths, predicting your ending like they were experts on your life. They whispered, "Yeah, this is it, watch them fall." They didn't realize they were watching the strongest experiment the universe ever dared to run through a human, and that human was you. While they sat safely in their boring little routines, you were ripping out the false version of yourself with your bare hands. You were cutting away every lie you were forced to live inside. You were burning every mask until only truth remained. They thought you were losing. That is adorable. You were literally rebuilding your identity from scratch, something they would never attempt because they don't have the spine for it. The truth is brutal. They weren't watching your downfall. They were watching you molt. They were watching you shed a version of you that was too small, too polite, too controlled. They saw your old life crumble, and they thought that meant you were destroyed. But look at you now. You didn't burn out. You burned through. You turned every loss into proof that you were meant for more than the life they tried to trap you in. You weren't demolishing your life. You were breaking the cage they were begging you to stay inside. And here is the part that slaps them across the soul. You did it in front of them. You let them watch. You let them laugh. You let them misjudge you because deep down you knew none of them had the range to understand what you were building. They thought sacrifice meant weakness. They thought letting go meant desperation. They thought walking away meant failure. They don't understand that real power requires loss. Real strength requires pain. Real transformation requires stepping into fire and trusting you will not die in it. They have never done that. They have never burned anything except bridges out of fear. Meanwhile, you burned everything that kept you small out of purpose. Different league, different mindset, different universe. Let's hit them harder because they earned it. They waited for the ending. They didn't realize they were witnessing your origin story. Think about how wild that is. They waited for you to fall apart. But the version of you that broke was the version that wasn't even meant to survive. The real you. The one with clarity. The one with discipline. The one with a spine sharper than steel. That one was born right in the middle of the chaos they thought would finish you. What happens when you stop protecting a fake version of yourself? What happens when you let the lies die? What happens when you tear down the safety nets and walk into the unknown with nothing but truth? You already know the answer. You become someone they cannot predict. Someone they cannot control. Someone they cannot replace. They didn't understand your silence. They called it weakness. They didn't understand your distance. They called it selfish. They didn't understand your focus. They called it obsession. Everything you did confused them because every move you made came from a level they have never reached. You stopped reacting to noise. You stopped chasing approval. You stopped pretending. And once you stopped pretending, they lost all their power over you. Here is the steel punch they really felt. They didn't lose you. They lost access to the version they could manipulate. Tell me that doesn't hurt them. Tell me that is not the exact headache they are hiding right now. You outgrew the story they created for you. You outgrew the role they assigned you. You outgrew the small box they tried to put you in. When you made sacrifices, they celebrated because they thought you were crashing. The chosen one eventually realizes that every sacrifice was not a loss but a release. Comfort gave way to clarity, unhealthy relationships to peace, approval to identity, and false security to real strength. Every ending cleared space for a greater beginning. Others watched the breakdown, expecting permanent defeat, but instead witnessed an extraordinary transformation. They could not understand how someone who lost so much emerged, stronger, calmer, wiser, and more powerful. The answer was simple. The chosen one did not break, they evolved. While others avoided discomfort, the chosen one embraced it. They willingly stepped into uncertainty, treating every setback as an opportunity to grow. Hardship became training instead of punishment. The fire that enemies hoped would destroy them became the very force that refined them. Each challenge stripped away weakness, leaving behind resilience, independence, and confidence. Sacrifice did not diminish the chosen one. It sharpened them into someone nearly impossible to defeat. Many people misunderstood the process, because true transformation rarely looks beautiful. It is lonely, painful, and demanding. From the outside it resembles chaos, but underneath it is carefully guided growth. Like steel forged in extreme heat, the chosen one became stronger under pressure. Every betrayal improved discernment, every disappointment strengthened resolve, and every failure taught lessons that success never could. Those watching believed the chosen one had lost control of life, yet every decision carried intention. What appeared reckless was actually strategic. They removed everything that could be used against them: false identities, unhealthy attachments, limiting beliefs, and relationships built on manipulation. Like a skilled surgeon removing infection to save a life, they cut away anything that threatened their future. The process looked harsh to observers, but every sacrifice protected something far more valuable. The chosen one eventually stopped caring about reputation, because they discovered that true freedom comes from living authentically rather than seeking approval. Rumors spread, criticism increased, and misunderstandings multiplied. Yet none of it mattered anymore. Most people fear judgment because they depend on acceptance to define themselves. The chosen one no longer needed permission to exist. That independence unsettled everyone around them. Life became a strategic game rather than a desperate struggle, like a master chess player sacrificing pieces to secure victory. Every apparent loss positioned the chosen one for something greater. Relationships ended, careers shifted, comfort disappeared, and familiar routines collapsed, not by accident, but because they no longer aligned with the future they were building. Others saw disaster. The chosen one saw necessary preparation. By releasing what no longer served them, they also removed every point of manipulation. A person who fears losing everything can easily be controlled, but someone who has already faced loss, rebuilt from nothing, and survived their darkest seasons becomes difficult to intimidate. There is little power over someone who has already accepted uncertainty and learned to thrive within it. The chosen one understood that growth often requires leaving behind people who secretly preferred the weaker version of them. Walking away from draining relationships was not cruelty but wisdom. Just as a pilot discards unnecessary weight to fly above a storm, they released anything slowing their progress. Every difficult goodbye created room for greater peace and sharper focus. Over time, sacrifices accumulated into freedom. They no longer depended on approval, comfort, or predictable routines. Instead, they relied on character, discipline, and inner conviction. The silence that once felt lonely became a place of clarity, where distractions disappeared, and purpose became unmistakable. Solitude no longer represented isolation, it became a source of strength. Observers gradually shifted from mockery to confusion. The chosen one should have collapsed under such pressure. Yet each hardship only made them stronger. Their survival challenged everything others believed about suffering. Curiosity replaced criticism as people tried unsuccessfully to understand the mindset behind such resilience. Eventually, respect mixed with fear because they realized they were witnessing someone who had discovered a different way to live. Isolation turned out to be one of the greatest gifts. Instead of producing weakness, it revealed authenticity. Without constant outside influence, the chosen one finally discovered their own voice, values, and purpose. Material losses exposed how little was actually necessary to live with peace. Freedom came not from acquiring more, but from needing less. The greatest transformation occurred internally. Shame disappeared. Because there was no longer anything to hide. Identity no longer depended on possessions, titles, or public opinion. Authenticity replaced performance. Real confidence replaced fragile pride. Every sacrifice removed another chain that had quietly limited growth. This freedom became deeply unsettling to those still trapped by fear and external validation. They realized that the chosen one had escaped prisons they still willingly occupied, while others accumulated more responsibilities, expectations, and appearances. The chosen one became lighter by releasing everything false. Their strength came from subtraction rather than accumulation. Success also changed meaning. Instead of measuring life by wealth, status, or recognition, the chosen one measured it by peace, purpose, and self-mastery. They built success from resilience rather than applause. Their victories carried greater weight because they had survived storms that would have defeated many others. The more they succeeded without seeking approval, the more impossible they became to compare with. What others called collapse eventually became the foundation for an entirely new life. Sometimes old structures must be demolished before something stronger can be built. The chosen one accepted this truth, while others desperately tried to preserve lives that no longer served them. Destruction became construction. Endings became beginnings. Ashes became the raw material for transformation. Perhaps the most painful realization for observers was seeing the chosen one genuinely happy. Not temporarily excited or outwardly successful, but deeply peaceful. After sacrificing everything society insisted was essential, they discovered authenticity, freedom, and lasting fulfillment. Their peace exposed the emptiness hidden beneath other people's carefully maintained appearances. The defining moment came when the chosen one accepted that real transformation required allowing the old self to die. They willingly released outdated identities, limiting fears, and familiar comforts without looking back. This symbolic death gave birth to someone stronger, wiser, and impossible to intimidate. Fear lost its power because they no longer feared change itself. As they continued growing, opponents quietly stepped aside. They recognized that pressure only strengthened the chosen one instead of weakening them. Every obstacle became training, every scar became evidence of growth, and every difficult season reinforced purpose. Endurance, not talent, became their greatest advantage. Eventually, permanent separation occurred. Some people could no longer accompany the chosen one because they were unwilling to grow to the same level. Like parts of a rocket falling away during launch, certain relationships naturally detached as higher purpose required greater altitude. Those left behind sometimes attempted to return, but they no longer sought genuine connection, they sought access to the person they once controlled. The Chosen One recognized these patterns immediately. Sacrifice had sharpened intuition. They now valued solitude over false companionship, purpose over distraction, and truth over comfort. Rather than collecting people, they protected their peace. Letting go was no longer viewed as loss, but as necessary growth. In the end, the Chosen One did more than survive hardship, they redefined victory. Success was no longer about standing above others, but about becoming completely authentic. By surrendering everything false, they gained something no one could steal: clarity, freedom, integrity, and unshakable inner peace. Those who once watched with judgment now watched in silence, realizing that the person they underestimated had become someone truly untouchable.